Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to your show, Inspirations. We're still trying to build the foundations of a true life, of the right perspective of this life in ourselves and on the ones around us. Now, the importance of these issues is so great that, as I said previously, it has the potential to change our lives. But it is the positive change that every human being is looking for. Actually, let me say this thing about Iman. Iman is somehow connected to the dreams that everyone had at the time of childhood. You know, when we were children, so pure, we still maintained at that time the purity with which we were born, the purity with which we are created, loving what is good and abhorring what is evil. With that purity, we all had dreams about a wonderful life, about a peaceful life, about a constructive and very kind of wonderful and successful life. And this is what really Iman brings to us. So now, let's try to see what the concept of faith or belief really has to give us, and what it has to offer us in this life, and how it has the potential to open our eyes to the realities connected to this world. Now, before we delve into these beautiful issues, let me welcome our guests. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First, thank you for joining us and for making the effort to be with us today. As usual, before we get into the subject, we have to sum up what we said previously so that we put everything in perspective. Now, the first time we met, or when we started with Iman, with faith, with belief, this beautiful concept, we said the first thing is you have to free your mind from all preconditioning, all misconceptions and all stereotypes, because these are tools to govern people's brains and mentalities. We have to free ourselves from that. We have to make our own way in life. We have to choose our own way. And this is real freedom. This is real freedom of choice, actually. And this is how we can make correct decisions based on reason, on logic, for which we can take the accountability and the responsibility. Now, that was the first step. And we said the second step would be really to open our eyes and consider and meditate and consider the creation around us, this universe, this wonderful universe with this great organization and the vastness and the accuracy that is in everything in it, from the smallest objects to the biggest objects in this world. Now, then we arrived at the conclusion last week that any reasonable human being must come to the conclusion that there must be a creator for this world. The creator must be there, and what we need to do is to just ponder on his creation, on his handiwork, and then this will take root in our hearts and will cause a drastic change in our lives. A very positive change, the kind of change, as I said, everyone aspires. Now, as we have arrived at this conclusion, that there must be a creator for this universe. Now, let's suppose someone comes from a background that has no connection with religion at all. And he agrees with us. Okay, I agree with you that I have to make my own way. And he embarked on that. Then he agreed with us, yes, after pondering on the creation, on the universe, there must be a creator. Because all this great organization and orchestration and harmony in the universe indicates there is a creator. Now I need to know who this creator is. What is the next step that I could take? Can you tell him? We have to be logical. We have to take one step after the other, no jumping to conclusions, because this will not help us, really. And this will help us actually in everyday life. We can always think about things logically and take one step after the other without making any assumptions, without jumping to conclusions. This will help us with everything we do. So, what would be your advice to him? How do I know? And I agree with you, there is a creator. How can I find him? Okay, let me start with Jamal, please. Or the mic, sorry.
Thank you. First we have to think, or advise him to think around us, to see the universe, the skies.
Okay.
How the sky is built, to see the seas.
Okay, how does this benefit us?
Okay, that's...
Can you bring the mic closer?
Yeah, that can tell that there is something behind this. I mean, the way the sky built,
Okay.
the way the seas, it differs from one to another.
Yes.
By the salinity, by the density,
Okay.
by the color of the
Yes.
seas.
Okay. Now we said that we have to consider the creation. Now, but what is the purpose of this kind of thinking?
That there's something that a way of a human, that's something created
Yes.
from one
Yeah.
who is the creator.
Yes.
That
We agreed on this.
Yes.
Now, what is the next step?
Beyond our imagination, out
Yes.
of our imaginations,
Yes.
that the man can think, or the mankind can think, that there is something not normal.
Yes,
not
definitely.
nat-
But how can I know I need to know the creator now. Help me. Give me some kind of gesture or clue. Give me anything to help me, please, doctor.
Thank you for this nice introduction.
Thank you very much.
As an example, if you want to know any person, his work, his attitude,
Mhm.
his behavior
Mhm.
will give me an idea about that person.
Excellent. That's a very good starting point.
Yes.
It's a wonderful starting point. So we look at the handiwork of this person, his products,
Yes.
his actions, his behaviors.
Yes.
This will give us an idea. Okay, how can we apply this to know the creator?
Multiple ideas. First of all,
Yes.
as يقول الله, our God said, وفي أنفسكم أفلا تبصرون.
Mhm.
وفي آية أخرى يقول, another آية, حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق.
Okay, can you
يعني
translate
يتفكر.
this?
الآية هذه.
Yeah, can you translate the meaning of it?
Yes, the meaning of it, that we will see what our God create and we will think of it. Our God said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. This means we have to know our God.
Yes.
You see?
Okay, now the first one was very good. You said that, you mentioned the verse
Yes.
where the Creator says basically
Yes.
that you will see signs even in yourselves.
In yourself.
Yes.
For example,
Okay, so how does this give us an indication about God? I look into myself.
Because-
How do I know my Creator through that?
yes, many persons all over the world, from Adam till now,
Yes.
they do their best to do things, but they fail to do things like our God.
Mhm.
For example,
Yes.
they copy, which is now all over the world. We have to copy persons, we have to copy animals, but they fail to copy oneself.
Yes. Okay.
This means that there's one God.
Okay.
There's no associate.
Yes, that's very good argument, but I need to
Yes.
get to the conclusion of that. And before we get to the conclusion of it, let me remind our viewers that the lines will be open, the telephone lines will be open. Please do call us and take part in this discussion, and hopefully your contributions will add to this discussion and will help us arrive at a logical and reasonable conclusion. So we're waiting for your phone calls. The numbers will appear on the screen, and still I remind you as well of our email address. Please send us your emails on inspirations@huda.tv. As I say again, the lines will be open. Please call us. The number will appear on the screen. Please do call us and have your contribution, have your say here. Okay, so let me move to somebody else, doctor.
Yes.
Okay, now I look into myself, I look into the creation. How do I get to know the Creator? Someone never heard of God, never heard of Allah, never heard of any kind of deity, but he says, give me something, a clue just to start with.
Okay, so at this point we have to give him evidence. If someone agrees that there is one God and
Yes.
there is a creator, he needs evidence. Okay, I have in mind one point which is in Surah Al-Ghashiyah. أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت. To translate into English, don't they look to the camels how they were created?
Yes.
Okay, if we take camels as an example, every single creature moves the right hand with the left leg.
Yes.
If there is two hands
Can I
and
just
two legs, okay.
make more distance from the mic? No,
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
further, yeah.
And then every single creature moves the right hand with the left creature, except the camel.
Yes.
It
I agree
moves.
with you.
Yeah.
But how does this make me know the Creator? I need to know the Creator. Who's He? Anything,
It
yeah.
is-
Give me any clue about the
It
Creator.
is mentioned in the Quran.
Yes.
It is mentioned in the Quran. Every single invention
Yes.
in our world, it has a root in
Yes.
the Holy Quran.
Yes.
If they go back to the Holy Quran, there is a root
Yes.
for this invention.
I
Okay?
totally personally agree with
Okay.
you. But the thing, we need to take the person. He says, I agree with you, okay, that there is a creator. Who is he? I need to, don't tell me about the Quran, don't tell me about the Bible, don't tell me about any other book. Now, give me a clue. I have nothing in hand. Just give me something to start with to get to know the creator. Do you have anything, Basil? Please, can you pass on?
Actually, you said don't talk about the Quran, but excuse me, I want to talk about
Yes,
Quran.
yes.
Why?
Yeah.
If he is an Arabic-speaking person, give him the Quran. Imagine for a second with me if Shakespeare was asked to do some kind of a English literature kind of book, and he says, you know what? And he's one of the best, of course. I cannot make anything like this. Not even a line, not even a verse, not even a chapter, nothing. And he just gives up and said, you know what, this is from a higher authority. And he says that with authenticity. What would you do? You give up. If you are someone into the language, you just give it up and say, you know what, I'll take your word. Same exact thing if he is an Arabic-speaking person or if he's someone very serious. I don't care if it's someone in China who says, you know what, he claims that there's some kind of a book in China in whatever language. I would read that language if he says that that's from God or some whatever. Or I will teach someone Chinese language to go scrutinize that book and then raise the white flag and say, no, this is a higher authority kind of book and I will give up, and there's someone beyond our imagination who made this book. Okay? But I understand you're trying to address it's a universal address. It's not a Muslim or an Arabic speaking people.
Definitely.
That's why I understand
I'm trying just to
in general to
deal
describe
with a very simple person. He says, I agree with you with the two first arguments. I have to make my own way.
Absolutely.
I have to find the truth for myself. I started doing this, and I agreed with you on the second conclusion that there must be a creator to this great universe. Now, with the tools that any human being, normal human being, average human being has, how can I get to know I need to know something more about him. What are the avenues possible for any human being? Muhammad, do you have anything?
Okay, thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Well, I believe that since we have creator and creation, we can read the creator in his creation.
Excellent.
Simply speaking.
Very good.
So, for example, we have different colors among the human beings, but we still have human beings with one nose, two eyes, two ears, and what have you.
Yes.
Then this means that we can, first of all, know that this is a one creator. So simply speaking, we can read the creator in his creation.
Very good. That's a very strong point, very strong argument. Let me take this phone call from Saudi. We have Abu Bakr. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah. Please, you are talking about to know who is the creator.
Yes.
You have to refer the person to that. Just like if you have a television, there has to have a catalog of the television. Then we are in the world and you have a catalog. You have to go back to the catalog. If you go back to the catalog, there's 4 things that you can find in Surah Al-Kahf.
Yes.
If you bring these things from Surah Al-Kahf, he will show you that there is nobody like him. So if you found something that which is that in the world that there's nobody like him, that is the creator.
Yes.
In Surah Al-Kahf will show all the things about the creator.
Yes. Okay, Abu Bakr, let me get this point through. Somebody doesn't know about the Quran, and he agrees with you on these arguments. He totally agrees with that. But he says, within the tools that are available in this world, how do I get to know the Creator? Now, Muhammad mentioned a very important point. He said, you look at the creation, it will give you an idea who the Creator is. This will give you a clue. Let's assume somebody is living in some kind of a village in Texas or Colorado or like in South America, okay? And he doesn't have Muslims in that area. Now he says to you, okay, I agree with these, but within the tools that I have, how do I get to know about my Creator? Now this point is very strong. You read the universe. Like if I give you a book that is written by someone, you read the book, you will have an idea about the writer. So this is the argument. Now, how do you see that this can be really applicable? Do you agree with that?
I agree with you.
Okay.
But the only thing that without giving the catalog, you cannot find anything about the catalog, about the person.
Carry on.
Unless you read the catalog, you have to show him the catalog.
Definitely.
So definitely.
Definitely, but
And
the
then
thing,
when you show
yes.
him that there is none like him,
Yes, Abu Bakr.
That is good.
Yes, what we're trying to do, the catalog or the the instruction book is there already, but you can't come to someone and say to him, "This is your catalog." Basically, I'll tell you, most people will not agree with this. Will consider it to be repulsive. This is why we're trying to take it step by step,
steps.
step by step. This is what we're trying to
So
do.
the question is very hard for me now. So unless we have to hear from you,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Abu Bakr. Thank you for calling us. May Allah reward you. Okay, so we arrived at the conclusion, which is a very good point, Muhammad. We can read, we can know about the Creator through His handiwork. Please, Professor, do you have any comments?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Can you get the mic closer a bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Excuse me, since it's my first time here,
Yes.
to go ahead and introduce myself, Dr. Abdurrahman Abu Malham, PhD in English from Texas A&M University,
Mashallah.
currently teaching at Al-Balqa Applied University in Jordan, Irbid University College. First of all, since we got to the point to where this particular person that you're talking about, assuming that he actually or she lives in a village, I like that particular point or particular example, a village in Texas. So that's my second home, as a matter of fact, and I'm proud of
Okay.
that. Anyway, I've had that kind of experience with some people from the United States and really people from the rural areas in Texas in particular. I think after that person gets to the point to where he or she believes already that there is a creator, in other words, there is a supernatural entity
Yep.
that is that has the capability or a capability beyond our own capability
Yes.
and a power that is beyond our power themselves. Now it is time for them to go ahead and start with themselves, start with actually, since they have that belief already, start to build, if you will, that
This is
particular
exactly
foundation,
very
that
good.
relationship, that to create that particular bond
Very good.
with the Creator.
This is exactly
And
what we're
that's-
trying to establish actually here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And that in itself actually will get them to where they want to be.
Yes.
That'll get them to where they want to be. They'll establish that particular bond with them, that particular relationship with the supernatural entity, the deity that we actually call God, okay, or whatever they want to call it themselves. And as time goes by, they will start feeling much closer to God as they ask and as they worship. And really, that
But
would be through
yes,
the vehicle
how-
of worship
okay.
in particular. Yes, go
That's
ahead.
very good. How can we help them get to know more about the Creator? And we said, really read the universe. Now, if we look at the universe around us, we said that it's, the creation of the universe is so magnificent, so amazing and astounding, actually. Now, what does this tell us about the Creator?
He's one.
That He's one. That's one. That's number one. Okay, what else?
Powerful.
Powerful. Someone who created this massive universe with perfect and precise organization so beautifully must have power.
Unmatchable. There's no way that you can
Very good.
match that
So,
particular
do you
power.
see now we started to read the universe and
That's
we're
right.
getting more we're knowing more about our Creator. Now we start to develop this kind of bond or relationship with the Creator. So imagine, the more you know Him, the more you will love Him. This is even true with human beings. When you love someone, you are always eager to learn more about that person. And the more you know about him or her, and these things that you learn are very good, the stronger the bond and the love will grow.
The closer you feel towards them. That's right.
That's it. So now what else can we learn about the Creator from the creation? Who else has any... Okay, Muhammad again. Please, can you pass on the mic?
Okay, thank you. Well, we can also say that there is no matching, competing power.
Okay,
Bes-
well, sort of the same kind of what
bes-
Professor
beside
said.
this creator.
Yes, okay. He's unique. No one can match his power and his abilities. Okay? And he's one, as you said. I need more. I'll give you some time to brainstorm, inshallah. First, let me take this break. We'll come after the break to get to know the Creator more through His creation. We read the signs that He put for us in the creation. Now, we'll go to a short break. We'll come back soon, so stay tuned. Welcome back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're still watching Inspirations. We're still trying to build the foundations. Now, before we went to the break, we were talking about how can we read the attributes of how can we get to know more about our Creator through His creation. Now, this will take us step by step to get more to know about Him and appreciate the things He has given us. Now, Basil, you had something to comment on?
Yeah, I believe that we must talk about by looking at the universe. Is there any contradiction? Is there any conflict that we see? Nobody could ever come up with anything that has to do with contradiction or conflict that you can see or you can pinpoint or anything. It's actually on the contrary. You are talking about perfectness. This is perfectness, and on the other hand, looking at us humans who have so many deficiencies, and when you start looking at these deficiencies, you can start with a whole list of so many things that we all have,
Yes.
the different deficiencies between all of us. When it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-kamalu lillah, as they say, perfectness is to God subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's, I think, a very important thing. That's, again, another thing I can add is wisdom. Wisdom is putting the thing where it belongs at the right time, at the right... That is Allah subhanahu. When you look at that, you touched on that in the past, I don't know, last episode or the one before, when you talked about the timing of orbiting and all these
Yes, and the
stars.
fine-tuning and all that. Yeah.
Amazing. So you must notice that if you really want to notice. Or if you don't want to notice, it's as a human, you go nowhere. We know that. So
Yes. So I believe now we can bring all of this together, put it together. We can come at the conclusion that the organization of the universe, the perfection in it, this indicates knowledge and wisdom of the Creator. Everything falls just at the right place, the right time. Everything is so perfect, has been so carefully measured and amazingly done. So this shows the wisdom and the knowledge of the Creator, that He knows everything. What else can we know about the Creator? You said that He is powerful, that the power He has to create this magnificent and vast, big universe. Now, you see, we are getting to know more about our Creator. He's one, that's the most important thing. He's one because everything follows one system. You know the rules of physics and chemistry, they're all the same. So this shows that the Creator is one. So because the system He put for the world is the same, is one system. It shows us
no conflict, no contradiction.
No conflict, no contradiction.
Creator, yeah.
So now we're getting to know more about our Creator. You see, it's very simple. All what you have to do is reflect on the universe, use your mind, use your brain, and you will get to know more. What more can we know about Him? We said last week that some of the statements of the scientists that we quoted, one of them said, by astronomical standards, we are a cosseted, pampered, and cherished set of creatures or beings. He says everything in the world seems to be put together just to make human life possible on earth. What does this tell us about the Creator? Muhammad, please can you pass on the mic?
Well, okay. I might have a remark which might be a bit related and maybe not related to this topic.
Are you going to answer the question? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, okay. I mean, this might tell us what you have said about the preciseness and about the pampering stuff, that this Creator, this one Creator, has not created us aimlessly.
Yes.
There should be an aim, an objective for this creation.
Yes.
I can read this in the universe.
Very good. That's a very good conclusion. What else can it tell us? Because He made everything at our service. Let me first take this phone call. We have a telephone from UAE. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah. I'm fine. I hope you are fine.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Let me, pose the question, okay? That the whole universe is created and everything has been subjected for us. Everything has been put at our service to improve our life. What does this tell you, Muhammad?
That there is only one Creator. Now, what I want to say over here
Yes.
is that the person has agreed. As you said, there's a person, and he has agreed that there is a Creator who has created.
Yes.
Now we have to make him agree about the oneness of the person who has created this world.
Yes.
Like, we can just ask him
Yes.
let him conclude. We can ask him who has created the skies, or who has created the earth.
Yeah.
Is it a different person?
Yes.
The different animal kingdoms, the different plants. Is it created by a different person, or with one person only? And definitely, when he sees to the creation, he will agree that it is only one person who has created everything, because there is no conflict.
Yeah,
There
because
is
it's one system in the whole universe. The whole universe follows the same system, the same rules.
Understand the oneness of Allah.
Yes, that's totally true. That really this is one system. It shows us that the Creator is one, and He has set the same rules. So that's a very good point, and I believe you touched on this.
Exactly. We must make him conclude that it is only one Creator. Cannot be two creators. There is only one, the oneness of Allah.
Yes, definitely. We agreed on this. We agreed on this because we said when we read the universe, we know that the Creator is one, and that He is all-knowing and wise, and that He is powerful, that He is able to do all things. Exactly. Now we agreed on this. Now we need more. What do we learn more? That He sent down rain in order to cause the vegetation to grow, so we get food to eat. Yes. And He gave us water so that we can drink. So what does this indicate about the Creator?
That's right.
Yes. Okay, Muhammad, thank you very much for this phone call. I really appreciate it. May Allah reward you. Thank you very much. Okay, so what does this tell us?
If I may, without a doubt, when a God does this for me as a human, I know without a doubt that He is actually respecting me, that I am so valued in His eyes.
Yes.
And in return, I must do something. I must establish some kind of a relationship to pay Him back, to thank Him, to obey Him, to do something. It has to touch to the core of each one of us. That if this whole thing is here just to serve me, this is unbelievable. This is beyond my image. I got to do something about it. You know, He is actually instigating to try to establish something. Just get to me, talk to me, do something.
You have to do something in return.
In return,
show good intention.
Exactly.
At least. So. Yes. Okay. This is fairly true. But let me just try to add one of the attributes that we can conclude from this universe: that everything is put at our service. Everything helps us live a wonderful life and a peaceful life, and live with convenience. Tells us that the Creator is merciful to us, that He cares to us, He cares about us. He does care about us, and this is very important when you said that we are honored by Him, that to create this whole universe and put it at our service to make our life possible, to make it peaceful and easy. This shows that we mean something to Him, that we are valuable, as you said. This is a very strong point. Professor, you had something to add? Please.
Yes, I think that you kind of stole my thunder, as they say.
Okay,
the point that I was trying to make really was everything that was mentioned earlier leads us to the same point of mercy, that this is really one of the most important and the greatest attributes and characteristics of God, the Creator, that He is actually merciful. In other words, His equality and fairness, the kind of equality and the kind of fairness that He treats us well. If God or the Creator wants to treat us according to the same standards that we actually use to treat each other as human beings, we will be completely lost. We will actually go astray. Mm-hmm. Because if the way we treat each other as human beings, if you are nice to me, I'll be nice to you. That's even being fair.
Yes.
Okay, and if you don't treat me right, it is my right not to treat you right.
Yes.
But these are not the same standards that God applies, or the Creator actually applies to His creation, to us as creatures of God. And that there's no other explanation for that other than the fact that He is merciful, and that's really one of the greatest blessings that we have ourselves. And because of that, we get most of the time, we actually get what we want, and we get what we need, although we're not necessarily doing what God wants us to do
and this just,
all the time.
Yeah, this just brings us very closer to our Creator, to appreciate that He's doing good to us, although most of humanity are ungrateful.
That's true.
Even some people deny His existence. They know in their hearts that He exists, that He is there, but they still say no, that He doesn't exist. They still have this kind of haughtiness and arrogance and pride that prevents them from admitting that, because they know that once they say yes, it will incur more choices and more actions and more decisions in their life that maybe they are sort of not ready to take upon themselves. Now let's try to move on to something that will help us maybe more, because we have plenty of topics to talk about today. We have to finish with them. Okay, so let's come to the conclusion. We read the universe, we know that the Creator is all-knowing, is wise, He's one. That's the first one, the most important one. And that He is merciful to us, and that He honors us. Now this should bring us really closer to Him. We should start feel something about Him, that I want to be grateful to you. I want to know you. You know, when He controls the whole universe, that's a natural thing, a natural feeling for you to like to, get closer to Him, understand more about Him.
To want to know Him more.
That's it. That's it. Okay, so if we arrive at this, do you think that God is all-knowing, merciful, and powerful, and He controls the whole universe, and He's merciful to us, and He honors us? Do you think that He just created us and threw us like this into the universe without telling us about Himself? Does this match His attributes that we read through the universe? Do you think so, Professor?
Not at all. No, I don't think so. I don't think that anything actually that God has done or the Creator has actually done is random.
Definitely.
Or done for no reason,
so
or aimless.
Yes. So He must have told us about Himself.
Exactly.
Okay, how do we know His communication?
We start with ourselves. We start with
How?
our needs.
Yes.
We open that direct line of communication actually with God Himself.
Yes.
We do not need to have any kind of mediator to go through to get to God. We actually know Him by asking Him, and we know that He is there. We know that He actually answers our prayers. We know that He fulfills our needs, and we know that He will be the only one there who will, when we actually need Him at the time of need. And even if everybody in the world, even the closest people to us actually desert us, God Himself will never desert us, no matter how we actually treat Him, or no matter how obedient or disobedient we are towards Him.
That's a very strong point.
Thank you.
A very strong point, Jazakallah khairan. This is it. He's merciful. Then turn to Him. Turn to Him. Tell Him, I want to know you. And from the stories that we always read about people coming into Islam, always read their stories, you will find that they have this kind of eagerness and persistence for years, some of them for 20 or 30 years, asking God to guide them to the straight path. God, guide me to the straight path. Show me about, let me know you more. Let me worship you according to the way you want me to worship you. Tell me more about yourself. So there are those who have this kind of sincerity, God will not make it go to waste. He will always try, He will always help you, He will support you, but at the right time, according to His wisdom, according to His great organization. So this tells us, let me come up with this point, that He must have sent us a message or a communication. How? Okay, after calling upon Him, asking Him to help us, what step can we take to get there?
If I may, I would like to speak from the Islamic point of view. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it very clear in the Quran. He said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. What does that imply? It means that your status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never change unless you start change yourself, and unless you initiate that change. In other words, you want to be guided, you start knocking on that door so He can open the door. You come to me and I run to you. That's another hadith, if you remember that hadith. So definitely, if you want this change, show me. It's just the religion of show me. You want faith, show me your actions. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Okay, it's a package. Islam is a way of life that touches on every aspect on your life. You can say all you want, I believe and I want, and I think, you know what? That's just talk. Show me your actions. Do you really want to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Prove it.
Come to me.
That's it,
Show me, prove it, And when you talked about mercy, actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala demonstrates to us the way He wants us to be. If He is so merciful to you, do you think just when He was just merciful? He wants you to be. I want you to be merciful. In other words, His own description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wants you to be the same exact way to Him, to others. Because as our professor said, if we want to talk about the rule of law, between us, if you're good to me, I'm going to be good to you. If not, you get nothing from me. This is not how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to live our life. Again, I always speak from the Islamic point of view, and I believe anyone who's really interested in getting into relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is very clear, from the Islamic point of view.
But they have to make the first step. At least.
Absolutely. You start.
Very good.
In what is that ayah that talks about the hidayah? It's إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء. Okay, من يشاء أن يهتدي. But you have to start.
Yes.
You with Prophet Muhammad got angry and got about people that he really loved. Why are they not being guided? You know what? They don't want to be guided.
Yes.
You start this with
Yes.
yourself. You cannot just sit in seclusion and isolation, say, guide me, without taking action towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Very good, very good. That's very important. If you really want to be guided, if you are sincere and looking after the truth, take the first step and read the world around you. And be sincere. When you are sincere, He will definitely help you. This is a very good conclusion, very good statement that we can come up with. That really take the first step, trust Him, because He has given you already so many signs that He loves you, He honors you, He will give you everything you need, He will guide you, He will support you. All you have to do is to prove it, and you have to do something at least. You have to be practical. Take the first step, and He will guide you throughout, all the way through. Okay, so there must be a message. Now let's talk about today. We're living in the 21st century. Okay, I need to know about the message of the Creator. Now there are so many books, so many people claim that I'm the Creator, or I know the Creator, I'm the messenger of the Creator. To be honest, basically what the most common or well-known or widespread religions are Islam and Christianity. Now you cannot be a Jew unless your mother is a Jew, so we put that on the side. Okay, with other like religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, even the people who believe in these religions, they cannot prove it logically, and we don't. Just for the sake of brevity, we don't have enough time. We will just try to. Let me talk first about the Bible. I'm not an expert in the Bible, but what I do urge you to do, and anyone who wants to consider the Bible, read the introduction to King James Version and to the American Revised Version. And see what they say themselves, the scholars of Christianity, they themselves, what they say about their book, whether it's about its authenticity. And that will give you enough. But what is most interesting is when you check the Quran. The first thing you face when you read the Quran, the first couple of pages, you will find that this is the book about which there is no doubt. Now, I've never read a book in my life, and I don't think anyone read a book in his life that says or starts with, this is a book about which there is no doubt. Most writers always write acknowledgements because they thank people who supported them. Then apology, that anything wrong, then because I'm a human being, we have our own deficiency. No one says, okay, this is the book about which there is no doubt. Another challenge that we find in the Quran, okay, and no one could ever pose this challenge at all. Because in the Quran you find, now, make one chapter, or even one verse, one line, like this book, or anything that you find in this book. Now this challenge has been there for 1400 years, has never been met. Another challenge is that, don't they read this Quran? Had it been from other than God, they would have found in it enough or abundant contradiction and discrepancies. Now these are very interesting challenges. Who can pose this kind of challenge and defend it for 1400 years? This is very interesting. We'll get to know about this, inshallah, after we have this short break. And we say to our viewers, we're coming back after the short break, so stay with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're still watching Inspirations. As I said before, that the lines will be open. The numbers will appear on the screen. Please call us and have your say in the discussion that we are having today, and I believe it's of paramount importance. Now, we said that there are very interesting challenges in the Quran. As I said, the first thing, Allah, God, when He said the Quran, He says that if you have any doubt about it, bring or write or initiate anything like it, even if it's one line. And so far, no one has ever come with anything that is parallel or even close to the Quran. Now, at that time when it was revealed, that was the peak of the Arabic language and in eloquency and wonderful kind of language, a high level of language. Now the people of that time believed that, to come with something like or comparable to the Quran, it has to be very eloquent. They tried, but they failed. Now after that, it was the age of philosophy, when the books of Plato and the Greek and Roman philosophers were translated. That was the peak of philosophy, and people thought that to have certainty in your heart about the reality of this world, you have to delve into philosophy. It will bring you certainty. Now it proved itself, philosophy, that it doesn't bring any doubt, and the Quran managed to be on the top, that nothing could bring certainty to the heart except the Quran. Now at this time, this is the age of science and advancement. Now still the Muslim scholars prove that the Quran is a miracle until today. So could you imagine, it's multifolded. The miraculous aspects of the Quran, this challenge is multifolded. Now as we are talking about the age of science, we have to get into some of the miraculous aspects in the Quran that talk about science. Some of the predictions, some of the statements, some of the descriptions of the universe that were never known at that time, 1400 years ago. They were only detected or discovered only a few years ago, or like 20, 30 years ago, after the advancement of tools and instruments that we developed. And we will get to this. We have some people who are specialists in the field. This will help us. But let me set some of the challenges as well that show that the Quran is so powerful that it really imposes itself. Because God says, or the Creator says in the Quran, that we have sent down this book and we shall protect it. Now surprisingly, if you go to any fair and objective encyclopedia like the Britannica or Almanac, go and read about the Quran, it will tell you that the Quran has been preserved, not even a dot has been changed from the Quran throughout 1,400 years. Now this challenge is still there. This promise to preserve the Quran is still there, proves itself. Now this takes us to the attribute of power. He's able to do all things. He promised and taken upon himself to preserve the Quran, it's preserved. Now some of the prophecies as well in the Quran are very interesting, because at the time it was revealed, the Romans were defeated by the people of Persia. Now the Quran predicted that within 3 to 9 years the Romans will become victorious again, and that happened exactly. Some prophecies were mentioned in the Quran and they occurred. Now this is very shocking really, because if it's a revelation from God, it has to match the attributes of God: knowledge, wisdom, power, and mercy to mankind. Now some of the things that show the knowledge of God that people of that time never known are the natural phenomena mentioned in the Quran, so precisely, so wonderfully, so accurately, and they have only been discovered today. And the scholars of Islam and Muslim scientists who are specialized in natural sciences, like in physics, chemistry, biology, embryology, medicine, all that, they started to discover, thousands of cases of facts, scientific facts mentioned in the Quran already. This is amazing, and this caused many people to accept the Quran without doubts. Now let me start with some of them, just to give as an introduction before we get to our audience who have some knowledge about it. Okay, we say some of the miracles, in the Quran. And there's a conference that happened in Saudi Arabia, 1981, at Dammam. Scientists from America, from the UK, from Sweden, from Austria, from Japan, from Thailand, from India, attended this conference. And some of the aspects in the Quran were mentioned to them. Some of them are presidents of universities in the USA, some of the prominent universities. Okay, some of the cases that were shown to them where the Quran talks about the embryo. God resembles the embryo to a leech. A leech, al-alaqa in Arabic, a leech. Now the scientists found out that the leech, and the figures will appear on the screen, I hope the director will show them on the screen, that the embryo exactly resembles the shape of a leech. Exactly. And the leech always, what does the leech do? It sucks blood, sticks to a body and sucks blood. This is exactly what the embryo does. It sucks the blood of the mother from the womb. It takes the blood. This is how it takes the nutrition. So this description is so wonderful. Now how did Muhammad, peace be upon him, know about this? He had no tools. He couldn't even read or write. Another description as well of the embryo is that in the Quran, it is like a chewed substance. And I hope the figure will appear on the screen, that when you chew some chewing gum, some gum or any kind of substance, now the embryo exactly resembles the chewed substance. How did Muhammad, peace be upon him, know that? Now, there's an American professor from one of the prominent universities in America. His name is Keith Moore. He was asked, after seeing this, he said, this is the most precise categorization of the steps or the stages of the growing of the embryo, of the growth of the embryo, that I've ever seen. And we could use this in science because it's very accurate. How did Muhammad, peace be upon him, 1400 years ago, know about this? And when he was asked, do you think the Quran is from God? He said, I find no difficulty in believing so, that the Quran is from God. Because no man could have access at that time to this kind of knowledge. So it shows the knowledge of the Creator. Another example let me give is about the mountains. The Quran describes the mountains as pegs. A peg is like the thing that we dig in the ground to make, and we tie a rope to it to make things firm. Now, recently in the 1960s, the scientists found out that the mountains are not, what we see from the mountains is the top of the iceberg. But the depth, the root of the mountain is multiple or many times the height of the top. That's amazing. This is exactly, and in one of the books that is taught in all the universities about science is called The Earth. It's authored by two American scientists. It says exactly the shape of the mountains is like the shape of the peg. Now this is exactly the description in the Quran. Where did Muhammad know about this? Now I'll move to your examples, what you know, especially we have a doctor who is part or a member of the committee of the miraculous aspects, scientific miraculous aspects in the Quran. Before we go into this, doctor, we have a phone call from the Emirates. We have one sister with us. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Riham.
Hello, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you, sister?
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
I am just to tell you that I am so proud of because I am a Muslim.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
I am so happy because, you know, everything we have evidence, we have proof for everything what we have.
Yes.
So I am so happy because I am a Muslim.
Alhamdulillah. And I believe every Muslim is really happy and proud of it.
I am really, really
yes.
proud of it.
Yes.
Because before I don't pray, I don't follow so much my religion. But now I am practicing and I see so many reasons, so many results about my life, everything.
Yes. And it's very important actually for us Muslims to understand our religion based upon conviction and proof.
So
not
really
just take
when
it for
I
granted.
think of my religion, I really sometimes cry. I was blind. I say I am blind before I cannot see these old things around me.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
I am so happy this Huda TV and Peace TV also. They are teaching me so much to know my religion more and more.
Thank you very much, sister. And thank you for your phone call. And we ask
Thank
Allah
you.
to make us firm. You and us as well.
Okay,
thank you very much for the phone call. Okay, let me move to our doctor. Okay, doctor, can you tell us about some of the amazing aspects that show that the Quran is the communication from God?
طبعا دكتور أشرف نوافلي consultant obstetrician and gynecologist. Really we need many sessions about scientific miracle of the Quran.
Okay, but we
have few points.
Okay.
One of the points you realize it. Our God said خلق الإنسان من علق, and we find that one of the stages of the embryo before it's implanted into the endometrium, it was like a leech, and this leech, as it's in the water, she is on the plants take their food, sucking food.
Yes.
The leech inside the abdomen, in the endometrium, it will suck blood until it's attached into the endometrium. We will move to another subject. Our master Muhammad, he said a sunnah. The person, the embryo, is created in the abdomen 40 days as nutfa.
Yes.
40 days as chewed food, and 40 days as leech. We find that all of these, they are 40 days, not 120, as some scientists said, because in Arabic, they said مثل ذلك, it
Yeah.
means it returned back to the 40 days.
Yes.
And as a gynecologist and obstetrician, when the pregnant lady 42 days, when I examine her on the ultrasound, I see the heart beating. There's
Subhanallah.
life.
Subhanallah.
Yes.
So how did he know about this 1400 years ago?
This means that it's from the God.
Yes.
Yes. Second thing, the stages of embryology. The embryo, how it's created. Our God said in the Quran, من نطفة أمشاج. نطفة أمشاج, it means that the semen from the male and the ova from the female, they will meet each others in the fallopian tube, and they will be attached to each other's amshaj. It will be one thing.
Yes.
Amshaj. Okay?
So it would be a mixture from
Mixture
the
from-
semen and the ova.
and the ova.
Yes.
And this, within 5 to 6 days, is to travel in the road, fallopian tube, until it reaches the endometrium as a areola, as a leech. Okay?
Subhanallah.
فخلقنا نطفة علقة.
Okay, we made it into a
فخلقنا
leech.
علقة مضغة.
Yes.
المضغة, it is inside the endometrium. It's not seen.
Yes.
You see?
Okay, just let me
فخلقنا
translate.
المضغة
Mudgha is what we said, what we talked about, is the chewed substance. Yes.
ثم الآية كسونا العظام جعلنا المضغة فكسونا I don't remember the phrase.
Okay, the chewed substance became into bones.
Bones.
Formulated.
Bones فكسونا العظام لحما.
Then we covered the bones with flesh.
Flesh. And this we find it in the ultrasound. When our master Muhammad 1400 years ago, he has no ultrasound, no investigations, but we discover this nowadays.
So the only
Yes.
logical explanation to that, how did he know about that? It must be revelation from God. It must be the Creator, because that's it, because only the Creator knows about this. We started knowing about this after this kind of advancement. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. It's just time like flies. Yes.
Having fun.
Yeah.
Another point.
Yes,
Our
very
God
quickly,
said,
please,
very
Doctor,
quickly.
yes.
Our God said, يهب لمن يشاء إناثا ويهب لمن يشاء الذكور
Yes.
أو يزوجهم ذكرانا وإناثا, means the twins.
Yes.
ويجعل من يشاء عقيما.
Yeah.
إن الله على كل
Okay,
شيء
let me
قدير.
translate it that God gives whomever He wills boys, whomever He wills girls,
Yes.
and He sometimes
He
gives
gives
boys
twins.
and girls or twins,
Twins.
and sometimes He makes people unfertile. They don't have children.
Yes. This means that يجعل من يشاء عقيما. Our God not saying يخلق. He said يجعل. And we discover that every case of infertility, we can manage and help her and become as a pregnant lady.
So basically,
In nuisance, yes.
every lady is born fertile, but for some reason she's infertile.
Yes.
And this can be solved.
Yes.
That's really amazing. So the description of the Quran is very precise. Now let me close with one very beautiful description. I hope, actually, I don't know if the figure will appear on the screen, but anyway, God talks, or Allah talks, it says in the Quran, describing the seas, that the two seas, when they meet, they do not transgress. The water from this sea will not transgress to the other. They will not be mixed, basically. There will be, he said, actually, the word exactly is the barrier. The barrier, a barzakh, is a barrier. Now they found, the scientists found out clearly that the two seas, when they meet, the waters never mix, because there's a difference in temperature and in salinity and in density. Now there's a clear line, barrier that cannot be seen with the naked eye, but can be detected with instruments that is there. Now how did Muhammad, peace be upon him, know about this 1400 years ago? Definitely that's a revelation from God. And I say to our viewers as well, I would direct you really, we don't have enough time to talk about all these aspects, but I advise you to go, there's a very beautiful website, it's www.islam-guide.com, www.islam-guide.com. Go to that. Some of the statements that I talked about, Dr. like Keith Moore, okay, and the way he answered about the Quran, he has no doubt about the Quran being from the Creator, from God, and about another scientist embracing Islam after he saw that, and he saw these beautiful descriptions of the Quran, he was shocked and he embraced Islam. Now let's come to the conclusion that if the merciful God, the all-knowing, the all-powerful, if He has a communication, it is the Quran. Because all His attributes that we find in the universe, we find them in the Quran. So it goes all hand in hand. It goes all in harmony. I really thank you all for being with us. And I wish we really had more time, especially with the doctor. to really, Dr. Ashraf, to get more into this, because it's a very wonderful aspect, but unfortunately we don't have time. In the future, I promise you, in 2 weeks to come, we will cover, maybe I will give more time to these subjects, because they need more time. We need to expound more on them in order to really to show the mercy of our Creator, that He didn't leave us for any doubt. He always gave us the truth. And let me just say, the thing that will tell us about our God as well is our nature. Belief is in our hearts, but we just have to listen. We have to be sincere. We have to be sincere with ourselves and find the Creator. All these signs with our nature, we have the seed of faith, of belief in our hearts, but it just needs nutrition. The nutrition of it is pondering on the creation and seeking the knowledge and sincerity. Now, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to support us all, help us seek the truth, follow it. And I tend to our viewers, always seek the truth, follow it, read in the Quran, find out more about it, and then you will arrive. I believe you will arrive at the truth according to your sincerity. I have to leave you in peace now, and until we meet next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.